Life in this world begins with birth, and life ends with death. So birth is the entrance into this world, and death is the exit gate from this world. Generally, people are so afraid of death. They don't even want to discuss death. But death is inevitable. So long as you are born into this world, death is sure. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna tells us, that whosoever has taken birth in this material world, death is sure. And whosoever has died, if you have not attained perfection to go back to the spiritual world, again, you have to take birth in this material world. So, birth and death are two sides of the same coin. Life is like a coin, and one side is birth, and the other side is death. You cannot run away from it. So for an intelligent person, instead of being scared by death, the better thing to do is to prepare how to meet death. Death is like a journey. When you want to embark on a journey, naturally, you prepare. What clothes you're going to take along on your journey, what books you're going to take along on your journey, how much money you need to take on your journey, what bag or suitcase you have to take on your journey. You prepare towards this journey. That is an intelligent person. A fool will just wait until the last minute and he will just take anything and go. Then on his way he starts regretting, oh, I couldn't take this and I didn't take this, I forgot to take this. That is a fool. But an intelligent person, he knows he's going to travel. A few days before he travels, he plans what I need to take along so that my journey can be very smooth. So similarly, life is a journey, and death is a major part of that journey. So therefore, an intelligent man, intelligent person, must prepare for this journey of death. And how do we prepare? It means nourishing the soul. It means understanding the soul. It means finding out where the soul comes from. It means finding out the source of the soul, which is God. It means finding out our relationship, the soul's relationship with the Supreme. It means finding out how we can revive our relationship with the Supreme. This is the preparation we need to make towards death. Linking ourselves with the Supreme, linking ourselves with the spiritual world, preparing our consciousness to meet death, preparing our consciousness to become spiritual, doing everything possible to remain spiritual. And in this way, one is preparing towards the inevitable death. Actually, death can be very blissful. For a person who is fully prepared to meet death, death is not different from just moving from one room to the other room. But for one who is not prepared, death is very scary. There is an example of the cat, the kitten, and the rat in the mouth of a cat. The cat carries his babies, the kittens, by picking them with his teeth. And the cat, when he catches a rat, he also carries the rat with his teeth. Now for the rat to find itself between the teeth of a cat means death. It means the end of his life. It means he has become a meal for the cat. But the kitten feels love. The same teeth of the same cat carrying the same kitten, carrying the kitten. But the kitten feels great pleasure because he can feel his motherly love. He doesn't feel any threat. He doesn't sense any danger. In the same way, a soul that is surrendered to God, a soul that is connected to God, death is a very blissful process. Actually, there is what we call samadhi. Samadhi means one entering into a higher state of consciousness, one becoming connected to the spiritual world, one experiences a high level of joy, and one withdraws from this body. There are many examples in life. The Dachi Muni, he withdrew. He entered into high samadhi and withdrew his consciousness from this body. So death is not so scary if you practice spiritual life. Death is not so fearful if one practices Krishna consciousness. If you practice Krishna consciousness and become elevated in consciousness, you will see death as a friend. Instead of being scared by death, you will see death as a friend. I think one musician says that people want to go to heaven, but they do not want to die. You want to go to heaven, but the only way to go to heaven is to leave this body, because you cannot carry this body into heaven. You require a celestial body to go to heaven. So therefore, one has to practice Krishna consciousness. One has to practice God consciousness. One has to practice spiritual life so that his consciousness can increase more and more and more to the level of samadhi. And then one can withdraw very blissfully from this body. That is death. Death can be very painful if we are very attached to this body, if we are very attached to the material world. Death becomes very painful because we don't want to leave the physical body. We don't want to leave behind our property. We don't want to leave behind our friends, our family members. We are attached to them. So death becomes very painful. But for one who has practiced Krishna consciousness and has elevated his consciousness to the level of samadhi, death is bliss because he can consciously withdraw from his environment, from this world, and enter into a higher dimension of pleasure. And death becomes pleasurable. So we invite you to come and practice Krishna consciousness and learn how to die. That is the whole purpose of this human life. The human life is meant to prepare us towards death. How to succeed at the time of death. That is what Krishna consciousness is teaching. Hare Krishna.